What is up, guys? It's Jimbo here and welcome back to another video. Today we have another new Warhammer 40k game. This time we have Warhammer Chaos Gate. Chaos Gate is a new tactical RPG from Complex Games, focusing heavily on building a group of Daemon Hunters, also known as the Grey Knights. The game will revolve around a fast turn-based combat system and tactics, and a variety of abilities, weapons and such that the Daemon Hunters have. In today's video, I'm going to detail everything you need to know about Chaos Gate if you are thinking about jumping into the game when it releases in 2022. But before we do that, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel for more content similar to this and all manner of other games, please make sure you do so. We're going to focus on the story. It focuses on the Daemon Hunters of the Imperium, focused on destroying the foul and disgusting Nurgle corruption and plague known as the Bloom across the galaxy. The Grey Knights are a highly skilled set of warriors of the Imperium that are skilled in melee combat, and where they shine best is in melee combat, and they're also well trained in range combat as well. And to combine all of that, they have a keen skill for psychic abilities. All of them are psychers, and they will give you an edge being a psychic against the forces of chaos. The Bloom infests the planet, then the system mutates and produces a variety of disgusting enemies that you will have to deal with throughout the game, and you have to go and eliminate them, basically purge the chaos from the systems. The Bloom spawn is there to suck the life out of these planets and create instabilities in the warp so you can spawn more chaos demons, and the Grey Knights are tasked with ridding the chaos from these planets and destroying the Nurgles. As for gameplay though, I've previously mentioned Chaos Gate is a tactical turn-based RPG, and it will most likely play similar to games that you may have played before like Gears Tactics, XCOM and other games in the similar genre. You'll have access to 4 Grey Knights or even more at certain points, and they will have a variety of different weapons abilities that you can use against the agents of Nurgle, which is the chaos god of destruction, disease, plague, decay, all that nastiness. And the Grey Knights will have a variety of arcane abilities which they have gained from being psychers, and also a variety of weapons of the Imperium that they can use to rid the problem at hand. There is 2 specific types of gameplay. One is on the ground fighting enemies, planning out attacks, that type of deal, similar to XCOM, and then the other is the management of your roster and a overall tactics and where you need to go, like an over star map type screen that you will be on the ship of the Grey Knights, which is the Baleful Edict. The ship will allow you to do a variety of things, so let's run through them. Customizing your Grey Knights is going to be key, especially if you want them to be unique to you. You can customize anything from their name and surname, their skin color, their hair color, the armor styles that they have, and just the variety of different crests that they can have that come on to their armor. And you can also have more of a meaningful connection this way. You can even make all your friends the name of your Marines in the games. That's pretty cool, similar to what we've seen before in games. Your knights will have a skill tree that can be upgraded as they earn XP through combat and completing missions, and these upgrades can include passive abilities such as willpower, an Aegis shield for extra armor, and an auto parry. So if you take a quick look at the screen, there's going to be a skill tree up there. It's quite extensive, and there's going to be a lot of different paths that you can explore with different knights for different problems that you may have, different mutations that come onto the planet. When it comes to the equipment that you will be getting though, there is an array of ranged and melee weapons that will have perks that can help you out in battle. For example, a scatter shot and a disruption shot, which will have different effects that they will do in combat. And equipment I've seen in the trailers includes power swords, a heavy bolter, frag grenades, thunder hammer, power fist, lightning claw, power lance, and a variety of different weapons. Ranged weapons, most likely bolters and pistols, that type of stuff, plasma guns and all the like. Anything you can think of in 40k is probably going to be able to be on a Space Marine here. If you haven't played too much of the 40k tabletop, stratagems are a thing that will influence gameplay in the tabletop, and it's a little bit different here. In Chaos Gate, it will give your knights things such as extra willpower for a couple of turns, more AP or armor piercing for a couple of turns, and it's just a small fraction of what they'll be able to offer. You can research them with different seeds that are in the game, so that's pretty cool as well. And then you can do all of this stuff by upgrading your ship The ship will have a variety of benefits to your journey, such as allowing the Grey Knights to be recruited to have more of them in your roster, how long it will take them to heal after battle if you upgrade some of the systems on the ship, like the infirmary, and how fast you can get around the tactical map, which will play a big part in gameplay when it comes to like the overworld. The star map is essentially like a tactical overview of the game, and upgrading your ship will allow you to travel around the systems faster, of course, but when things become a little bit too corrupted, there will be a Morbus counter in the top right of the screen that will count up, and if that gets to 5, it's basically going to spawn a Chaos Gate, which is pretty much game over. I don't know whether it will be fully game over, but yeah, some bad things are going to happen if that counter gets to 5. To round out our gameplay segment though, when it comes to the overall gameplay or the combat gameplay, I haven't seen too much of the actual gameplay itself. There's just snippets of HUD-less gameplay and combat cinematics. We have had a little bit here and there showing off type of stuff. There isn't going to be any random chance in this game, but that is going to be backed up by the armor of your enemies that are going to be a lot higher. The maps aren't just static either. You'll be able to destroy cover. The enemies will be able to destroy cover. You'll be able to maneuver around the map, knocking through doors and different things to get more tactical advantages. The enemies as well are going to have buffs and debuffs that they all have themselves, and they're going to affect you. And obviously that is going to have an effect as well. And the overall thing that you will have when you go into encounters is the mutations from the bloom are going to affect how encounters work. There will be maybe a death or decay type mutation that will be in the overall game of like a global modifier, which will mean that the enemies do potentially more damage to you. They will move further on their turns, and these modifiers are something that you need to keep an eye on because you don't want to be caught off guard with a certain global modifier when you are in combat. But that pretty much summarizes the gameplay. I'm super excited to play with the Grey Knights, but now we get to the juicy part, which is talking about the enemies. The developers have released small clips talking about individual enemies and enemy types and some of their abilities, but the overall thing you need to know is that the Death Guard are the main force of Nurgle. They're separated into different enemy types and that type of thing, as we know, general stuff, and we'll run through those in just a moment. But the Death Guard are disgusting, mutated, decaying enemies that have just been corrupted by Nurgle, and they have like leeches, tentacles, and pus and all that like oozing out of their body. So it's not exactly someone you'd want to invite round for afternoon tea. So running through some of the enemy types, we have the Poxwalkers. The Poxwalkers are pretty much cannon fodder, but are zombie-like infected creatures of Nurgle. There's also Nurglings as well, which are kind of these small little beast demons of Nurgle, which will also cause problems if they evolve, which they can be by being mutated. But the Poxwalkers have two abilities. One can resurrect other Poxwalkers, and they have an exploding ability, which is kind of an area of effect which releases toxic gas into the air. It could be on death, or they could just self-destruct themselves and do it, which is going to cause you a lot of damage. We then have Plaguebearers. They have the ability to apply damaging debuffs to your Grey Knights. They can mutate into more dangerous and damaging enemies if they're not killed quick enough, and once again, they are minions or demons of Nurgle. Then we have an Apostate Preacher. Preachers are very much like Nurgle Psychers, like sorcerer type deal, and they will boost enemies with armor. They can hit you with long range psychic attacks, and they can cause issues for your Grey Knights, especially when they look super cool with their like 1940s steampunk gas mask vibes. So these are people that you don't want to be messing with, or enemies you don't want to be messing with. Then we have the Plague Marines, which are one of like my favorite Nurgle enemies. Plague Marines are corrupted space marines that gave into the corruption of Nurgle. They have all these different tentacles, and they just are fleshy like things that are attached to them, and they have the ability to heal themselves after taking damage, and also produce toxic areas on the map, which will do damage to you if you pass through them. So yeah, the Plague Marines are definitely the next step up in the rankings. And then we have the BLICHT-HAULER, which is a mechanical like Nurgle infested like machine that they can disrupt you with range attacks by producing a fog, and they can also destroy cover as well, which is going to be a big problem for you with the Grey Knights, because you want to get up close and personal, so cover is going to be key. We then have the BLOAT-DRONE, which is similar to the Hauler in nature, mechanical, Nurgle infested. They can heal and mutate themselves from corpses of the enemies or their fallen enemies and become stronger. So if you kill like a bunch of POXWALKERs, they can just consume them and become even more powerful. They can counter-attack ranged attacks from the Grey Knights and also bombard you when they move as well, crashing down into an area, doing an area of an effect attack. Then we have the HELBRUTE, which are hulking, mechanized Nurgle monsters. The counterpart to these guys would be very much the Dreadnoughts on the Space Marine side, but for these guys, they're just in metal armor. And they have an array of things that are going to be able to kill you. They will rush you, destroy objects, and just throw the Grey Knights around. They will fly plasma rounds as well. And for good measure, when they die, they will self-destruct, causing a massive explosion. And there has been hints at certain plague gods in the game, and one that we do have a lot of information on. They did reveal another one, but we haven't got too much information on it. You can probably garner it from 40k lore, but we have Ager the Benevolent. Is just a massive, disgusting plague god that, whilst impressive to look at, is just something you wouldn't want to be near. And he has the ability to coat the environment in a toxic plague that will damage all that touch it. And on top of that, he can sacrifice Nurglings to spawn plague bearers. And then on top of that, he has a flail to be able to deal damage to you as well. So definitely someone that's going to be a bit of a test. Now, whilst I've gone through all of these enemies and all that stuff, there's probably a ton more enemies that we get to see. There's little snippets in some of the gameplay trailers as well, but I'm not going to dive too much into that. I'm really excited for Chaos Gate because it's very much a tactical turn-based like Space Marine game, and I love that type of deal, even though it's like the Demon Hunters, the Grey Knights, and it's something that I've been wanting for a while, especially after playing Gears Tactics. But that's all the information that I have right now, and maybe you've missed one or two things, maybe lore-wise, or not like fully analysed everything. But let me know, 40k fans, down in the comment section what you think of Chaos Gate. If you enjoyed it and you've stayed this long, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, this has been Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.